Welcome once again to Commander by Danon. Today's video was brought to us by longtime Patreon supporter Brett. Huge thanks to Brett and the rest of my Patreon supporters. Brett reached out asking for a deck for his friend Austin. Brett and Austin had a bit of an odd request this month. They wanted a deck led by Aragorn, King of Gondor, but they didn't want a go-wide creature deck. So this was a bit of a challenge to build, but eventually we decided on something fun. Also, and I know it's annoying to keep hearing this, but statistically if I don't ask you to like and subscribe, the video gets fewer subscribers. Aragorn, King of Gondor is a 4-mana 4/4 legendary human noble with vigilance and lifelink. Whenever he enters the battlefield, we become the monarch. Additionally, whenever Aragorn attacks, up to one target creature can't block this turn. But if we're the monarch, creatures can't block this turn. What we decided to build instead of the standard go-wide deck or monarchy deck is a surprise spellslinger deck. Yes, we are running some cards that generate creatures whenever we cast an instant or sorcery, but our primary way to win is through casting spells. Also, and I apologize to your wallet, but Brett asked that the deck's budget be between $800 and $1,000. But before we get to our deck list, a quick word from our sponsor, Ultimate Guard. For the past few years, Ultimate Guard has been hard at work finding ways to protect your cards without damaging the planet, and they have discovered it. Boulders, once made entirely of plastic, are now made of 87% renewable resources. They also come in a variety of sizes and colors, including this new teal 133 card box. If you're like me, you have a ton of decks, want a little bit of space for your tokens in your deck boxes, and don't want those boxes filling up an entire suitcase, then this box is the perfect solution. Find out if your local game store carries the new Return to Earth boulders from Ultimate Guard, or click on the link down below to order yourself one from Amazon. In order to build a functional commander deck, you need lots of different pieces, which is why I try to rely on my handy-dandy checklist. 50 mana sources, usually split between 37 lands and 13 pieces of ramp, 10 pieces of card advantage, 8 to 10 pieces of spot removal, 2 to 3 board wipes, 2 pieces of graveyard hate, and 1 sudden I win card. Oh, one more quick announcement before we get started. I'm going to be streaming on Musings by Danon as well as Twitch. It'll mostly be Final Fantasy XIV, but you're more than welcome to pop in and talk about Commander. Honestly, about half my streams are talking about manga, anime, or Commander. Command Tower, Exotic Orchard, Scalding Tarn, Arid Mesa, Flooded Strand, Misty Rainforest, Bloodstained Mire, Marsh Flats, Rogram Triome, Steam Vents, Sacred Foundry, Hallowed Fountain, Training Center, Spectator Seating, Sea of Clouds, Stormcarved Coast, Sundown Pass, Deserted Beach, Sulphur Falls, Clifftop Retreat, Glacial Fortress, Thundering Falls, Elegant Parlor, Meticulous Archive, Scavenger Grounds, 3 Islands, 3 Mountains, and 3 Plains make up the land base for this deck. Smothering Tithe, Dockside Extortionist, Stormkiln Artist, Mana Geyser, Mana Crypt, Soul Ring, Arcane Signet, Talisman of Creativity, Talisman of Conviction, Talisman of Progress, Izzet Signet, Boros Signet, and Azorius Signet help us to ramp out and stay ahead of the curve. Rhystic Study, Jeska's Will, Trouble in Pairs, Esper Sentinel, Archmage Emeritus, Whirlwind of Thought, Mystical Tutor, Underworld Breach, Solve the Equation, and Windfall help us to dig through our deck and keep our hands full. But since we're a Spellslinger deck, we've also got a small cantrip package in Brainstorm, Opt, Faithless Looting, Frantic Search, Consider, Ponder, Preordain, and expressive iteration. I know that cantrips aren't card advantage, but our deck has plenty of cards that want us casting instants and sorceries, so these serve dual purpose of making treasure, drawing more cards, or creating creatures, or straight up winning the game. A Braid, Swords to Plowshares, Path to Exile, Counterspell, Deflecting Swat, Flawless Maneuver, Generous Gift, Negate, Arcane Denial, Chaos Warp, Boros Charm, Dovin's Veto, Insult Injury, Lightning Bolt, Swiftfoot Boots, and Lightning Greaves help us to keep our opponents in line or protect our board. Taunt from the Rampart, Final Showdown, and Cyclonic Rift allow us to reset the board as needed. Talran Sky Summoner, Young Pyromancer, Third Path Iconoclast, Kaikar Wind's Fury, Metallurgic Summonings, Balmor Battle Mage Captain, Monastery Mentor, Murmuring Mystic, and Crackle with Power make up the core of our deck and how we plan on winning. Supporting our plan, we've also got Thousand Year Storm, Increasing Vengeance, Ghostly Flicker, Twin Flame, Heat Shimmer, and Dualcaster Mage. Now that we have our deck list, let's compare it to our checklist. 47 mana sources split between 37 lands and 13 pieces of ramp. A little light, I know, but we have enough cantrips to make up for the missing lands. Speaking of which, 10 pieces of card advantage, plus 8 cantrips. 16 pieces of interaction, 3 board wipes, 1 piece of graveyard hate in Scavenger Grounds, 1 sudden I win card in Thousand Year Storm. Of course it was going to be Thousand Year Storm. This has got to be my favorite card in Magic, but it does require some setup. We can't just cast it and then not do anything. We need several other spells. We could cast a cantrip or 2, then Mana Geyser to get a ton of mana, then cast multiple copies of Crackle with Power, killing the table. Or, my favorite way, cast a couple cards to build up our Thousand Year Storm count, then cast Solve the Equation to find Insult and Lightning Bolt. Cast Insult, you need at least 4 copies of Insult to kill everyone at the table with a Lightning Bolt. 2 to the 4th times 3 is 48. Or, we just win the game with a massive army of unblockable tokens. We spend a few turns building up our tokens, then cast Aragorn, making ourselves the Monarch, put boots on him to give him haste, and swing out. This deck is not the most focused Spellslinger deck I've ever built, but I wasn't going for a tight, focused build. I wanted something flexible, which is why this deck, despite its price tag, is not a CEDH build. It is a high-powered deck, though, with lots of ways to interact with your opponents. With this deck, you'll want to sit back, ramp for a few turns, hold up mana for interaction to prevent your opponents from suddenly winning, and sculpt your hand. Then, when the time is right, you storm off and win the game. Do you have a Spellslinger deck that relies on tokens to win the game? Who's your commander? Leave a comment below. Thanks for tuning in. Once again, a huge shout out to my editor Cutestuff. I couldn't make these videos without her. If you'd like to hire her to edit your own videos, she can be reached at cutestuff.edits@gmail.com. Link is down below. If you're looking for ways to support the channel directly, you can head on over to patreon.com/Danon. You can have a video made or just ask for help building or tuning a deck list. I also wanted to give a quick shout out to all of my patrons: Waffles, Jiraiya, Danny, Muffins, Marcus, Squishy, Brat, Roxy, Sean, Mark, Borgie, Naswin, Pedro, Midge, Alex, Alex, Julio, Valeri, Conga, RJ, Aaron, Chris, Robert, Joel, Brock, Michael, Skinwalker, Sidewinder, Austin, and William. You guys are awesome. I post new Commander deck videos every weekday, so be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified of new videos. Again, thanks for watching, and I'll see you all again next time on Commander by Danon.